Alright, I'm Jackie Fox. I just rebranded my channel to Jackie Fox and Friends, so this is going to be the first friend that I've got on.
Okay.
This is local rapper ArtGod.
Hello.
And we originally set this up to talk about shoeing. And it's great because we got somebody standing over here who has no idea what shoeing is. Can you tell them about the GIF that you just posted that started this out? Like, I'll explain it. I can talk about this forever, but...
Yeah, the gift that started. I do not remember the gift.
So, like, there's this really famous moment from...
Yeah. So, this was when, like, Iran, I think it was Iran.
No, I'm pretty sure it happened, I don't know. It was so, let's say the Middle East.
Yeah.
Just for
Yeah.
Don't want to overpromise.
Sorry, Iran. Everyone blames you guys for this. But, it was a press conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And George Bush was assaulted by a man who threw both of his shoes at this man. And he missed. But it was, not only did he miss, George Bush dodged them with like extreme reflexes, like cat-like reflexes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a super famous moment that actually started a phenomenon of something called, of what we now call shoeing.
Yeah. Oh man. And I just dropped in to like give you the background because you were just like, why is he throwing shoes? I don't even care. I don't know. It doesn't matter. This is hilarious. And I was just like, so going back really far into the Middle East, they've always had this thing about feet being like unholy level of dirty. Like there's that famous story from the Bible where Jesus is washing people's feet and it's supposed to be the most humble thing. Because like even a regular man wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But someone who's claiming to be like the son of God, that's so humble. Super. And like that evolved into when they get pissed off at like political figures and stuff, they'll leave their shoes like on their statues and stuff. And this guy just took it a whole nother level and just started chucking them at live people. And that guy's kind of my hero. I'm not even lying. Like,
it's very ambitious.
The reflexes that everybody evolved too, because you're talking about George Bush dodging this thing, but you got to imagine he's got like 20 Secret Service agents that were all like making a beeline to this guy, and he's still got that second shoe off. That amazes me to this day.
And that's impressive. I'm never taking my shoes off that.
Right? Like I'm getting late, I'm not getting my shoes off that fast.
No, definitely no. I definitely was impressed and very like. That's one thing that's awesome about you. You definitely know a lot about a lot. So I definitely did not expect that context and that background of that event. And I did not expect that it would take off the way it did. Like they, putting shoes on statues, that's just disrespectful. That's just how but to throw the shoe at somebody is like, God, like, wow, like, you took it a step further, right?
Yeah, that's like the Kanye West of political dissent right there.
Taylor Swift, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish, but I do not like you, and I'm gonna throw my shoe at you. And I feel like I appreciate, the bravery that took. I don't necessarily dislike George Bush. And it's funny that you said Kanye because, Kanye is infamous for saying George Bush doesn't care. And
I didn't even know. I know like this much about Kanye. I know he's really innovative with music. He's broken boundaries. So like that was the one relevant thing I could have said about Kanye. Just to be real.
I love Kanye.
Nobody loves Kanye.
No, nobody loves Kanye. I love all of Kanye. Even the new Kanye. I love, But I miss the old Kanye. I miss the old ArtGod too. It's that guy. But yeah, honestly, man, like George Bush is a really controversial president. You know.
I'm glad you still think so, because like the thing that I want to discuss with you, other than just shooting in general, was like this whole like image rehab that George Bush has had over the last 11 years now. Like during Obama, he was the quirky painter president.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that phase, and now he's like the somehow not racist president, even though he was totally President bomb brown people.
Yeah.
Like I was just looking this up today. I think it was the Iraqi Bodies Project said that like within the first month, not even like 30 days, but like the first calendar month of the war in Iraq, we killed 7,481 civilians. Not like enemy combatants, civilians. Same project says that the total civilian body count for the Iraq War is somewhere between 180 and 208,000 as of April 2019. Like, yeah. And like the total body count, and you'll get wild numbers on this because it's really controversial as to who's actually correct and how they're correct, but you know, some of the biggest numbers go over 1 million as of this year. For like total people that have died because of that.
Are you serious?
I mean, once you start including like, and this is where it gets controversial, but once you start including like bombing hospitals and like who died from the blast, but who died because they lost power, you know, that kind of stuff, then the numbers get really big. And that's also kind of where some of those civilian casualties come from. But like, you know, it's really crazy to me because just because he was more of a PC politician and that he didn't say the horrible shit, he just did it.
Yeah.
And now we have a president that just says the horrible shit. Like there's this inclination to say, oh, well, George Bush wasn't that bad. He's no Trump. But like, I don't know that Trump's got the body count. And like, even if he technically does, he didn't start that war. I mean, I'm not trying to defend him. He's done some awful shit. He's a bad president for completely different reasons, but you know, if we're ranking war criminals in like the last 30 years, he comes nowhere near Bush.
Yeah.
And I don't know, people are starting to forget that. So it made me feel good when you're like, yeah, he's still a horrendous person.
Yeah, I definitely think he's very, I don't know. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist myself. Like, not a little bit. Like, I definitely believe there's bigger things going on that they don't tell us about. And I know for a fact that 9/11, I don't know for a fact, of course. I don't know this for a fact, but you know, I know certain facts that would point to this not being a coincidence, and you know, whether he was behind it or he's just a puppet or not, you know, everyone. I hope that he thinks about it. I hope whoever was involved and was behind it thinks about it because it's horrible. Maybe I'm being politically correct right now because, you know, I don't want to be assassinated. But I honestly think, you know, the way Donald Trump is, I mean, I'd love it. I love racists that are actually outwardly racist.
That like let you know to like, stay away.
Yeah, like it's cool. This is your boundary. This is my boundary. All right, partner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna change your mind. If we can have a conversation and I can change your mind, let's talk.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk. But if I'm not gonna change your mind, you let me know if this is how you feel about me. You don't want me to damn sleep with any of your people, or come across your land, or you know, move in the neighborhood, and I don't want to move in that neighborhood. You got the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, that's your space. I don't like the people that come, you know, in wolves in sheep clothing. You know, at the end of the day, if you're a wolf, you're a wolf. You know. I mean, that's kind of like a wolf, though. I don't know. I don't think wolves think too hard about things. I don't think they would really put the effort to come in disguise. You know, a wolf is gonna be a wolf. He's gotta eat. You know, Donald Trump pretty much says what he wants to do the whole time. You can't be mad at someone that's telling their intentions. You have to be mad at the people that support those intentions. And for whatever reasons they support it, can't really be mad at them. You know, like, just take it or leave it. You know, racism is racism. You're supposed to be racist. You're supposed to want more for, not supposed to be racist, but you're supposed to want the best. You're supposed to want the best for for humanity in general. And you know, it's like no racism. You know, it's really just we're all human. We're all supposed to fight for our survival. And at the end of the day, survival of the fittest, whether you're black or white, you know, it's really green. Like, honestly, because that's all I've ever seen. Like, I've seen white people be broker than some black people. I've seen black people be broker than white people. At the end of the day, they both don't give a damn about the next race. They're trying to it's all about self-preservation.
Yeah.
You know, and we say there's things like white privilege, there's things like, you know, in ways there's things like black privilege. You know, you go to Atlanta where it's predominantly black-owned businesses, and you're a white male or a white woman, you might not get the same job that black person would give to another black person. Because they're trying to keep the money in their community.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But the key difference to point out is there are very few of those black people that have the ability to give back to their community that way, and there's a whole lot of white people that hold that power still.
Yeah.
And you know, even if both sides are equally racist just to spite each other, that's going to end up fucking the black people or you know whoever has the least power.
Yeah.
Because they have less power to be racist with, you know, which goes to that whole like, well, black people can't be racist thing, and like that. Honestly, that's how you define. That depends on how you define it, but it is certainly true that you have to have a lot of power to actually enforce your racism. Because you know, you can call me a cracker all you want. Like I can laugh my way to the bank, off of my white privilege. There was one thing that you talked about with a specific privilege that you had. See, you guys don't know this. I just had the advantage of watching an entire interview that you did. You actually mentioned privilege in there. One place that I'm not sure you realized, but like it was how you framed it. But you were talking about how since you hooked up with my buddy who owns the studio, our buddy who owns the studio, you've made, and I might have understood this a little incorrectly, but you said you made 130 songs. I don't know if they were all with him, and I feel like he probably did a lot of those just to help you out. I mean, you paid him for probably a lot of that stuff, but you know, you've had the privilege of having someone find you and discover you and be willing to put a lot of effort and a lot of investment in. And, you know, you talked about how a lot of other people don't have that. You didn't use the word privilege, but how do you feel about that?
I think my privilege, honestly, is like, it's a gift, you know, and it's also earned, you know. Privilege is also have to fight for it, you know. It's not something that my privilege in a sense is like connection wise, because in any industry it's all about who you know. You know, that will further propel your craft, you know. And fortunately, meeting Josh, him being so creatively, you know, inclined and motivated, it matched my creative incline and my motivation. So then my privilege was to be in the right place at the right time and to, you know, have valued the connection and the privilege of knowing that, you know, someone had a resource that I didn't have. Like, he has a resource of where he has a recording equipment. You know, he may not be the same artist that I am. He can't write a song or perform the song like I can. Yeah. But, you know, he can record the song and engineer it and master it better than I can. Yeah. So our privilege is that we complemented each other strongly, because when we first started, you know, he was already great at what he did, but undoubtedly him working with me and seeing the different styles of music that I understand, that he didn't understand, you know, has definitely influenced and has curved his creative ability, just as me working with him. Now I can sit behind a computer and I was kind of had an understanding of this on other softwares, but now I can sit behind FL Studios and kind of like chop this up, and at least piece it to where I can at least record it. Yeah. But when he's going and doing the EQs and this and that, and like, oh my god, like that's just rocket science to me. So
yeah, you're kind of like me. Like we both watched him long enough that we could like really like loosely remix a song if he did all the hard work first, and we just had to move the pieces around. Like we could do that, but like mastering or fucking turning a channel off or something that's probably behind us.
That's an art form, and I appreciate that. I mean, I appreciate the effort that he took to invest into me, because he's invested money into me that I don't think I can reciprocate until I actually do blow up and get like a big record deal, and then I just plan. By that time, hopefully we're all rich, and we can go take trips and give the privilege of having somewhere for another young artist to record.
Yeah, and that kind of dovetails into something like, just to kind of frame this, to give a little bit of background, like something that I remember Josh saying when he was still setting up like his home studio and everything, was his goal was to build a nonprofit studio so that he could bring people in who never had privilege and never had opportunities and give them the best that he could. And I mean, obviously he still does a lot of work like out of the goodness of his heart, but he's also got to pay rent in a physical space now, so he's got to make money. And that was something that I was also thinking about, like that duality, when I was listening to your interview, because, and I'm not sure how conscious you are of this, but you talk a lot about like the same kind of things that I was just kind of plugging him for, and what you just said right before that. But you also talk a lot about how important the money is, but then you always catch yourself and be like, but the money's not important, but this is why the money's important, but I want to blow up, but I don't want to blow up. And it seems a little bit conflicted. I'm not calling you out, but like, how do you feel about that? Where is the money in that? And like, what would you do with it? Like, why do you want it? Because I definitely don't see you as a person who's just going to Scrooge McDuck and roll around in a pile of gold coins. Like,
I don't know. It's contradicting, and maybe it's like, it's a self-conflicting ordeal that I've brought myself into. It's kind of like childhood dreams to be the rich, super rich, luxurious rapper. You can't touch me. I'm invincible. I have money. I have cars. I have girls. I have clothes. I can fix any problem with the flick of my, pen stroke onto a check. And I guess like still like maybe like a midlife crisis, like I said, like I keep going through midlife crisis where I'm only I'm midway through my 20s, and I still don't want the things that I started wanting so badly as much as I want, because I see that like it's not as I don't know. It's because I kind of want the money. I want the money because I'm tired of having broke people problems.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to have broke people problems.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
my car breaks down, I can't fix it. Like no, nobody wants that. But primarily, I want the money because that would give the validation of success.
That makes sense.
That would say that you made it in some type of way. It's like, hey, like you.
So what you're saying is that's a big part of the way that you define success.
Yeah, exactly.
Is just people are willing to pay for my album over and over again until I have this big stack of cash.
Exactly. And it's
Do you feel like that comes from inside of you or from outside of you?
It's outside. It's definitely a worldly desire.
So what comes from inside of you? If it's not the money, like, or
the
maybe what makes you okay? Talk about that.
Yeah, the music is definitely like the purest. It was pure, you know, at one point in time where it just, I only want to make the music to make something that I can listen to, something that, hey, like, I'm comfortable listening to this, and if I'm comfortable listening to it, maybe there's, you know, a million like-minded individuals out there that'll be comfortable listening to this as well, you know, and then it got to the point where it's like, well, people kind of talk down on you when you don't have the money.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of get labeled into, you know, labels these days or anything. You know, you get labeled into something and you just kind of put into that box. And they won't kind of let you transcend that box. You know, when you don't have money and you're not touring everywhere, you're a local artist.
Yeah.
You know, and then they're putting you into that box for the rest of your life. Oh yeah, you know, local artist, this guy. And then it kind of like demoralizes like your drive, and really inspires me now, you know. But sometimes like it would demoralize it and then say, well, they don't appreciate the music, so let me just get the money and then, you know, fuck, you know, everything else. Like I don't have to make music for you, blah blah blah. I'm making it for myself. But then I started realizing I'm not just making it for myself. It's like people are listening and people are actually, you know, processing what I'm saying. And like I have to, like you said earlier, it's a privilege to be here. You know, to get studio time, to even have a place to record. You know, in general, because you know there's millions of people who are more talented than I am, who can sing better, who can probably.
I wouldn't
better.
say millions. The world isn't that big.
Yeah.
And I do think pretty highly of you.
Thank you. You know, there's a lot of people who are probably way more talented and can do what I do way better, and don't have the opportunity to record.
Yeah.
And don't have someone like Josh in their circle. So, it's always like I said. I didn't say that. Say this in this interview, but it's in the last interview I said, ego. You know, it's like you want to have the money because your ego says that's what's gonna make people notice me, and then you have to balance it out. Like, bro, like
people have to notice you to give you the money too.
Exactly.
Like, it's a cycle.
It's horrible, man. It's like the music takes second string to a lot of the other things outside of it, like the business, and you know, you don't want to get messed over. You don't want to like have someone completely profit 100% off of your creative drive. You know, labels like exploit you these days. They can really take like 90% of your profit and leave you with a contract that you're only making 5% of 100%.
Yeah.
And that happens way too often. And I think as a younger artist, I wasn't ready for what I was asking for. And I deal with that. Like, that's like the biggest thing for me is like, do I want it? Do I really want this? Like, do I really want to be on stage in front of like 1 billion people and be easily judged? You know, like they could say this horse is ugly. You know, why does he look like that? Why does he rap like that? Why does he sound like that? You know, but you know, you want it.
Yeah.
But you don't want it. And then you struggle with that. So then you can't, maybe that's my problem with the music in general, and why I haven't got the success that I've been striving for. Because in my heart, I don't know if I truly want it 100%, or I don't know what I'm asking for.